Hello, everyone. Welcome to Astro Babble. My name is Misty, and this is Dani, and we're here today to go over the upcoming astrology transits for the month of April. And this month, we're currently recording in March, on March 19th. We're in the throes of Mercury retrograde. March was eclipse season. So once this is posted, we'll be coming out of the fog, it seems. How has the retrograde been for you, Dani? And eclipse season in general?
So, so retrogrady. Like, I think that's probably had most of my attention, at least the past few days, so much so that I forgot that eclipse season happened until you just said eclipses. And I was like, oh, wait, like, there was a bunch of life-changing stuff that just happened.
Yeah.
A lot. Oh, okay. Yeah, eclipses happened. But then it was like they finished and Mercury was so retrograde, is so retrograde in the worst place he could possibly be. They could possibly be, definitely a they, them. Mercury is.
Yeah.
But that it like I am like forgetting choreography in my other job. People like I had a parent come in my dance class today was like, "Do I need to help you remember choreography?" And I'm like, "That would be great." Because I'm doing Mercury things, right? So I teach dance.
Hmm.
So I'm doing Mercury in Pisces things. Like I'm
Very much.
choreographing on the spot and then it's gone. And then it's gone. So I'm like, what did I just do? And they remember, but I did it, so I don't remember it. So, anyways, it's just been the spacey space. And I keep saying it's the spacey space. And then, like, all of the podcasts that I listen to or the YouTube videos that I'm watching, everyone is having glitchiness. So, astrology is real, y'all. If you had a question. How about
Yes.
you? How was yours
Um,
for you?
it's been yeah, a lot of life-changing stuff. I did a lot of the stuff that they tell you not to do during a Mercury retrograde, so I like traveled and took a trip to Seattle. I visited my best friend for his divorce party, and it was great, but my first day there I did fall like right on my butt, probably maybe broke my tailbone, who knows. And then I got a sinus infection there because the climate was way different and it was constantly rainy and everything was wet all the time. But I still had a fantastic time and it was okay. I did miss my flight back home, so that was a Mercury retrograde snafu, but it was way less stressful than I anticipated something like that being. It was still pretty stressful, but like like I got a hotel for the night, they comped me a hotel, and then I was just there the next morning to go home.
I was going to say, do you think that it was less stressful because you knew Mercury was retrograde?
Hmm.
Like, because you knew that this potentially could happen, you were just ready for it. Like, oh, that's a thing.
I was
Instead
more
of like,
ready
what is
for
happening to
it.
me?
I was more ready for it.
Yeah.
When I booked my plane tickets, I even got like the little travel insurance add-on, which I like never get. And I don't even really think I needed it to get my hotel comped. But even just like knowing that, like, okay, if something does happen, like, it'll be fine. If I lose my luggage, they will send me the money, type of stuff. So there was that, but also I think I was like way more go with the flow, which I think is very Mercury and Pisces, anyway, and not my usual nature.
Makes sense.
But I do think that just like the
There you
going of
go.
the flow with everything, like really has been showing up. And it's been nice, even though I've been like confused the whole time. I'm like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing.
That's a good
Hmm.
phrase for how it's felt for sure. Like, oh, this is what's happening. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I interrupted you because you said you came back and started a new job.
Yeah, I came back. I started a new job also during Mercury retrograde. I'm a few days in, so it's been nice. It's been pleasant, but I'm very much that Mercury Pisces like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing um with my onboarding. So that's been interesting, but I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
been a bad retrograde.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's been bad either, but I've
Yeah.
definitely been very aware of it.
Hmm.
Um, And like I'm planning this event that's going to happen on the 28th, and I'm planning it with two other women, and like they know astrology land with me, and I have said like we're going to figure this out on March 20th. Okay,
Oh yeah.
like we will deal with this on March 20th. So like we've been like preliminary planning, but we're not expecting anything to solidify until 8 days before
Right.
the because we're just like, nope, there's no point. There's no point.
Pretty much. Yeah, I have had a few of those instances. Like, I don't really want to be talking to people right now. I've been ignoring my emails and my texts and just like responding when I have to. But there have been people I've left on read for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Sorry
just
if
deal with
you're
it then.
watching this.
Yeah, just deal with it then. Yeah, for sure. I have another like funny Mercury, I guess funny Mercury retrograde, whatever. Just like the gate for our fence that keeps our dog in, but also like our cars in and everything has been a disaster for months and months. Like my husband has been working on it every day, and he decided that he really wanted to start working on this gate, like I think right like the day Mercury stationed retrograde or something. And I was just like, dude, this is not the time. Like, don't do it. Don't do it right now. Just wait. Just give it a month. Just yeah, just wait. Just wait. Of course he didn't listen because this like when we first started dating, Mercury is retrograde and my car broke down like 14 times, and so Mercury is a curse word in our relationship.
Oh no.
So he does not listen when I talk about Mercury.
Just tell
But
him it's another planet. Just be like,
he's like, I don't
oh,
want to hear your astrology. I'm like, okay, your choice. But what happened? The gate doesn't get fixed. He gets mad. He says he's never going to touch the gate again. He comes back to the gate 2 weeks later. He keeps re-dealing with the gate, but I think it's fixed. Maybe, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
we'll
happens
see.
tomorrow when it stations correct. Man,
We'll
y'all should
see.
listen to your astrologers, especially when you're married to them.
Yeah, especially when you're married to them, especially.
We could have
Uh,
just waited and done this a month later, and you wouldn't be stressed out. But whatever.
sometimes people have to learn on their own. Sometimes they have to learn on
Yeah.
their own.
He has Mercury natally in Pisces, so maybe it was helping.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So,
All
anyways,
right.
any other Mercury stories, Mercurial girl?
Not really. I designed a new logo for myself. I reimagined my logo. So that has been nice. I really like it. It's super cute. I'll edit it in here somewhere. You can see it
Put
when
out
I
nice
edit the
pictures.
video.
Here, let's make a heart.
I think I think my I'm at a different ratio than you are.
That's hilarious because I'm like, okay, well, we tried. We could do it like this, and just it pops right there in the center. Ah.
No.
Okay, Mercury is not about this life. All right, I think it's
Um,
time. We are
okay.
clearly dizzy from
We're
Mercury.
dizzy. Yes. Okay. Well, first week of April, April 1st through 4th, we have a shorter week. The summary of the week is that for this first week of April, we're going to be likely to experience some big emotions, especially after the full moon revelations that'll come around. However, this week is also here to remind us that hardship breeds inspiration and loss leaves new room for new creations. So the week starts, April Fool's Day, with a full moon in Libra. Um, it's kind of appropriate, I
Yeah.
would say. This lunation will illuminate relationships in your life, and we're going to be called to balance out the dynamic between self versus other, me versus them. And the full moon is also applying an intense square with Jupiter in Cancer, creating kind of a T square situation. So this moon is going to illuminate and expand those emotional needs, especially emotions can be feeling very big today. I would not say necessarily bad emotions, but just sort of just like tense socially, especially. And if you've been giving a lot of yourself to others, this is the dynamic, especially like with Jupiter emphasizing it, because that Cancer side really wants to nurture others, and Cancer wants to take care of others. And Libra is very much that interpersonal type of energy as well on the more social end. And so there can be this energy coming up with the full moon of like, man, I've just been like giving and giving and giving to this partnership. And there's been no time for myself, or vice versa, where maybe you've been like so focused on you that like the relationship is like not doing well as a whole. So, those are some things that can come up for the full moon. It's really just about recognizing when you need to pay more attention to your relationships or if you need to step away to have some of your me time. And this does not it's not necessarily romantic relationships, but all relationships in your life especially
Right.
that take diplomacy and cooperation, collaboration. So we're really trying to protect our peace with this full moon. That is what it is at the end of the day, just protecting your peace. Um, Friday on April 3rd, we have Mercury trining that Jupiter. And we experienced this Mercury Jupiter trine last month when Mercury was retrograde. And now they've caught up to meet again with a little bit more clarity. And Mercury still struggles in Pisces, but Jupiter is the ruler of Mercury and it's exalted in Cancer. So it's like an extra helping hand, extra supportive. Um, and it really lends itself to our sense of inspiration and imagination, which are truly boundless on Friday, April the 3rd. So if you need a day where you're like focusing on something creative or really just wanting to like nurture yourself, especially, I would pick Friday, April 3rd to be doing that. Um, on the same day, we also see Venus opposing the moon in Scorpio and squaring Pluto. So, this is where the day gets a little bit intense. Venus and Taurus really highlights our wants, our desires, and our creature comforts. Think like the warm, fuzzy blanket, like your favorite fuzzy blanket that you put on yourself at the end of the day, like on your couch. That is that Venus and Taurus energy. Um, but in this square to Pluto in Aquarius, this looks like kind of a reminder of how so many people right now, especially it's coming out more with Pluto and Aquarius, where society needs to be like reimagined. Society needs to be reimagined. And the square to Pluto is reminding that, like, to us, especially when it comes to our tangible wants, where people in society right now are really struggling with meeting their basic needs, even, let alone having the amenities that Venus and Taurus loves that make life comfortable. And then the moon and Scorpio is just that energy of ruminating on it. So today's this energy of you need to be taking care of yourself. You need to be nurturing your imagination and your creative vision. And maybe that's propelled by some of this just discontent. Um, Use that energy to just reimagine what you want out of life and what you want out of society, I would say. So yeah, a little bit of an intense day on Friday, April 3rd, but there's good opportunity to make the most of it, it seems. And do you have any thoughts about that, Dani?
I mean, I think it's like Friday, payday, and then there's still not enough,
Yeah, yeah,
or it's like the beginning of the month and all the bills are due and you just want to go get a massage, but you have to buy milk, like
yeah. Those types of vibes for sure.
so yeah, yeah, and it's just and then you're like in your feels about it. So
Yeah.
not fun. but
Not
not forever.
you can make it work. I believe that people out there will be able to make the most out of that Jupiter trine.
Like you're going to be able to have the conversations about, okay, I need help here, maybe from your
Hmm.
family because Jupiter is in Cancer, or like some kind of like close relationship that you have like that, or maybe you're able to help someone, or just like being honest about the struggle that you are experiencing.
Yes, I like
Or
that. Coming up the following week from April 5th to 11th, this week, we're really having the confidence boost to tackle any of the challenges that were brought up the previous week with the full moon revelations, with just this like dynamic like feeling of like what are my needs with that Friday. So week two really starts with that boost of confidence we need to actually handle things. And that starts on Sunday, April 5th, when the Sun in Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer. And even though squares are a hard aspect, I still love all squares, most squares to Jupiter, I will say.
yeah,
I love a good Sun square Jupiter moment. Um,
yeah,
However, great for confidence boost. So good for confidence boost. You're going to feel really capable on Sunday, April 5th. However, this could also bring in overestimating your abilities at the best. At the worst, it could bring in some ego clashes. So just be mindful of that on Sunday, April 5th. Um, And on the same day, the moon is still in Scorpio and it's opposing Uranus and Taurus at the same time that we're experiencing this ego boost from that Sun and Jupiter square. And so there's just this energy that really, when I was looking at these transits, even though nothing Virgo is really going on here, I was like, this reminds me of like spring cleaning and how
mm,
like you get that impulsive urge to like do the cleaning and you're like, I'm going to rearrange all of my furniture in the house out of nowhere with no plan to do it. And maybe you're all alone and you're like, yes, I can totally move all of this furniture by myself. And then you stub your toe or something like that. And then you're pissed off. So,
like you lose a screw and you put your bed back together.
yeah, something like that. So just be cautious of the overconfidence. It can be really great, but it can create problems. But you will feel on top of the world for
Yes,
sure.
you can do it. Move the
You
mattress
can do
by
it.
yourself.
Move the mattress by yourself. The same day we have Venus and Taurus sextiling the North Node in Pisces. And for a while now, the North Node in Pisces has been really encouraging us to become more empathetic. And while Venus and Taurus speaks to our tangible belongings that we value, especially, and together, this is a fun and creative energy for making our external world cooperate with our internal worlds just a little bit better. So, in this cleaning and rearranging of the house scenario, this is like you organized, you rearranged your house, you have your donate trash bag, your bag full of items that you want to donate. That is Venus and Taurus sextiling Node in Pisces energy of these things used to have value to me. I'm going to do something good and donate them.
I love that.
Um, yeah. So that's a good way to use that energy, I would say, if you're doing some spring cleaning. And then on April 8th, we have Mars sextiling Uranus. And this is on Wednesday, and this brings an extra sense of urgency as Mars is at the anaretic degree of Pisces, and also sextiling Uranus at the anaretic degree of Taurus. And the anaretic degree is just the 29th degree. This is the very last degree that a planet can be at before it shifts over into the next sign. And so there's like this sense of urgency attached to planets at this degree because it's like, oh, I have to finish up my last like paper before I can graduate college, and I waited until 11 p.m. to start it and it's due on midnight. That type of energy is how I see the aneretic degree. So
A
just a
good
little bit of
describe.
urgency. Yeah, yeah, just that urgency and like, oh, I have to get this done. But Mars
There's
and
so much energy.
there is so much energy,
Yeah.
exactly. And Mars in Pisces takes inspired action, which means it's not exactly the most productive place for Mars to be. But I think it'll get like an electric boost from Uranus there to be like, okay, we gotta get this done. We gotta get this done to help to like make things real.
You can get that final inspiration from Pisces before leaving.
Yes, yes, exactly. I
Yeah.
love that. And since
Yeah.
we're on the spring cleaning analogy, this day is like you're at the point where your home is rearranged. Maybe you need to hang a painting in your hallway, but Mars and Pisces cannot find the toolbox with the hammer in it. And then Uranus and Taurus is like, hey, there's a big rock in your driveway. It'll work just as well. Let's just get it done.
I mean, it's
Um,
true.
it is true. I have hammered a nail with a rock before. It works just as well. So,
This is going back to that gate story. My husband, who natally also has Mars in Pisces, he just like decided that we needed to have this special mechanism that he just magically knew about Pisces, but it was not available at any of the stores. So he made one out of a screw and a piece of garden hose.
wow,
So like
yeah,
full
that
MacGyver,
is
yeah, a MacGyver moment, like MacGyver. I think that is Mars and Pisces sextiling Uranus.
yeah.
Like
So,
we're about to explode, Uranus.
yeah, you'll have your MacGyver moment
So make
on Wednesday.
great,
Sometimes you
great
gotta.
analogy.
Thank you. And
I
then
love
on Thursday, April 9th, we have Mars entering Aries. And let me double check my calendar to make sure I have my dates right. Yeah, that's Thursday. Okay, so Mars
that.
enters
Yeah.
Aries on Thursday, April 9th. And this is where Mars actually finds the toolbox that it needed to find. This is the
Crazy.
sign of rulership for Mars, so it's very comfortable here. And from now until May 18th, assertive energy comes easier to us, and we can actually get things done when we decide that we're going to be doing them. However, be cautious of impulsivity and impatience. In the spring cleaning analogy, this is the energy of actual, like you actually take your donation bags directly to the donation center instead of letting them sit in the trunk of your car for weeks.
We all do that.
So,
It's okay.
yeah, yeah. So we'll be feeling a little bit more productive with Mars in Aries. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Amazing. All right, ready for week 3?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So week 3, I have my calendar here too. Make sure I get the days right. So this week builds towards a powerful Aries new moon. So yay, this Aries energy is building. So the energy is moving from inspiration to insight to healing and initiation. There is a strong push toward new identity, new direction, and reclaiming personal power. So the first thing is April 13th. That's on Monday. We have Mars conjoined Neptune and Venus sextile Jupiter on this day. So this is two very different energies. First, Mars meeting up with Neptune is visionary action energy. So it's a little bit of more of this inspiration from Pisces energy moving forward a little bit because it's dealing with Neptune. And collectively, this can show up as people feeling inspired to fight for something meaningful, spiritual, or ideological movements gaining momentum, activism driven by compassion or belief. But Neptune can blur clarity, then rather, and so you can also see confusion around motives, impulsive actions based on ideals rather than facts, and collective narratives that feel emotionally charged. So we can expect to feel motivated by purpose rather than practicality, which is something we're kind of used to, but it's not so much like inspiration, like a dream, but more of a purpose now that Mars has entered Aries. So we're going to feel energized but slightly unclear about the direction because of Neptune, inspired creatively or spiritually. So be prepared to act from inspiration, but check your grounding. Move slowly enough to confirm what's real. This is passion fueled by vision, but the vision still needs direction. And then Venus is going to sextile Jupiter, and this is completely different energy. This is a conversation between the two benefic planets. So, like, your best girlfriends are supporting you. It's a beautiful, supportive transit that softens this intensity that we're dealing with Mars and Neptune. So, collectively, this can bring generosity, emotional warmth, financial or relational opportunities, and a desire for comfort, safety, and connection. So, we'll feel nurturing energy, appreciation for home, food, art, and relationships. So, lean into connection. That is a good idea. Like, find a friend instead of like getting stuck in a group that's like going from purpose that might be unclear. Having this
Mm-hmm.
conversation with a close friend that has your back is probably a better way to deal with today. This is supportive energy for relationships and creative projects, and this transit reminds us that growth can feel nourishing. Do you have thoughts on this day?
Yeah, it's just like, especially for leaning on relationships today. If you're struggling to get things done, do some body doubling. Do some body doubling with a
Mm,
friend. And that's just when like it's like let's say you're doing homework and you're struggling to get it done by yourself. It's just like calling up a friend like, "Hey, let's do our homework together." And then all of a sudden it's like way easier and we're clearing a little bit of that Neptunian fog, it seems. The relationships could probably help get us out of that.
for sure, for sure. And Neptune or Venus and Jupiter are both really strong, so
Hmm.
in this moment. So this is like you want your friends and you want your family, and they're gonna help.
Yeah.
So then moving on to Tuesday, April 14th, we have two things happening today as well. Mercury is going to sextile Uranus and then enter Aries. Whew. Mercury will finally leave Pisces and we'll be able to think a little better. So this is a mental breakthrough day. First, we can expect to see innovative ideas, unexpected insights. Can you hear my dog? He's barking. Really? You have to be
I
here?
can't hear him.
Okay, he's like barking loud enough that sorry. Okay. I'm gonna start over. Um, he's like barking loud enough that it's making me jump, but Zoom is amazing at just like not making you not hear it. So okay.
Yes.
Um, April 14th. That's fine. You don't have to edit that out. It's fine. It's fun. Okay, so this is a mental breakthrough day. First, we can expect to see innovative ideas, unexpected insights, and creative solutions appearing suddenly. So people may rethink things they assumed were fixed, and we will feel intuitive flashes, curiosity, and new perspectives about money, work, or stability. So write down ideas immediately. Keep a notebook with you. Conversations today can shift perspectives quickly. And then Mercury enters Aries, hallelujah, and the communication tone changes immediately. So collectively, this brings direct speech, fast decision making, people speaking their truth more boldly, but watch out for impatience, blunt communications, and impulsive decisions. Speak clearly, but stay conscious of impact. Mercury in Aries doesn't hint, it declares. So Mercury is not like super powerful here, but it's just going to feel so wonderful for Mercury not to be in Pisces anymore. It's going to
Hmm.
be like you took vitamins that make your brain work better or something.
Yeah. More proactive
Oh, I can
thinking.
finish the sentence. Yes, proactive thinking. That's a better phrase for it. Yes. All right. Next, we go on to Thursday, April 16th. The sun is going to meet Chiron. Mercury is going to meet Neptune. And we have one more moment of confusion. And then Mars will sextile Pluto. So this is the most intense day of the week. First, the sun conjoining Chiron. Chiron highlights wounds around identity, courage, and self-expression. So themes may include healing around confidence, confronting fears of being seen, collective conversations about leadership or independence. We may feel vulnerable but empowered, aware of old insecurities, and ready to move past them. Approach yourself with compassion. Healing often begins with honesty, and this is courage to heal the parts of you that once felt small. And then communications may feel inspired, but also foggy. Collectively, this looks like visionary ideas, spiritual messages, poetic language, but also it can be misinformation or confusion. And we may feel imaginative thinking, strong intuition, difficulty separating inspiration from fantasy. Trust inspiration, but verify the facts before you act on it. And finally, the powerful transformation energy of the day. This can bring decisive leadership, strategic action, breakthroughs in social movements or technology. This is focused on power, not chaos. We will feel determination, clarity about what needs to change, confidence to take action. Use this energy for purposeful action. So get through the fog and then get some purpose. And this is a moment where courage meets strategy. So this day really seems like a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anything you want to say about that one?
I'm really looking forward to the Mars Pluto sextile.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because they're two like power planets that are kind of like aggro, a little like kind of aggro, but they're like meeting up in a supportive dynamic.
yeah,
So it can be this energy of like you are compelled to like do something and then you get like really into it, like
yeah.
laser focused on it. So I'm
I
looking
feel like
forward to that.
I feel like Pluto is so big. Sometimes it's hard to like take action about it, whatever
Yeah.
this Pluto is doing in your life. And so to have this conversation, which is what a sextile is, between the planet of action, it can
Hmm.
like maybe give you something tangible to do with this like big transformation that's happening in your soul or wherever it is in your
Yeah.
chart, you know?
Yeah. It's like things are changing and I have to do something about it type of
Yeah,
energy for sure.
yeah.
I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to that.
That's nice. I like this description of it. Yeah. So heading into April 17th, Friday, we have the new moon in Aries. So this is a reset point of the week. Aries new moons represent beginnings about independence, leadership, and personal courage. So collectively, this can look like bold initiatives, people redefining their direction, and cultural momentum toward action and innovation. We will feel motivation. Mercury's in Pisces, desire to start fresh, and a pull toward independence. So prepare by setting intentions about who you are becoming. Focus on identity based goals. And instead of thinking, I want to achieve this, ask yourself, who do I want to be? And this new moon asks you to begin again, but as a more authentic version of yourself. Aries is me, 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 me. So this is your chance once a year to be a new me, 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 me.
Do you?
You do you, boo. You do you on April 17th. And then April 18th, that is Saturday, Mercury sextiles Pluto. So this is another conversation going in on that like strategy action that Mars was bringing. And now we get to really think about what that is. So this is a powerful mental integration moment. These are deep conversations, strategic thinking, and uncovering hidden truths. So this supports research, negotiation, and transformative dialogue. So we will feel mental clarity and a willingness to address deeper issues and courage to speak the truth. So be prepared for conversations today that can change direction for the future. This is a big deal. Pluto's big. This is the kind of insight that changes the story that you're in. So early in the week, we will feel inspiration. And then midweek, we will get healing and clarity. And then we'll end the week with a powerful new beginning. So people may feel like they're stepping into a new version of themselves or that they're finally ready to act on something they've been thinking about for months. This week asks us to move from inspiration into action. And the Aries energy wants courage, but the surrounding transits remind us that the most powerful action is the one that's aligned with the truth. Like Pluto is really demanding that there's truth involved here. And if we continue with your spring cleaning metaphor analogy, that's why we do spring cleaning, because
Yes.
the winter we like think about what wants to happen, because we are always experiencing this Pisces energy in some way. And then we get into Aries, it becomes the spring, we get into Aries season, and we get motivated with whichever planets we're getting that year, but this year it's Sun and then Mars and Mercury right there. So our action, our identity, and our thoughts are all ready to like make this project happen. When you've been sitting in your dirty house for 6 months, now you're going to clean it, because the
Yeah,
truth is it's dirty. Okay.
it's dirty. This is like
That's Pluto.
this is a week. I think that Venus and Jupiter dynamic is gonna make some of us be feeling cozy on the couch, you know. Watch Queer Eye,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you watch Queer Eye, you'll be like, I need to rearrange all of my furniture. That's what happens every
Yes.
time I watch it. I'm like, I need to reinvent myself. I need to throw away everything and reimagine my life. So watch Queer Eye or something this
Yeah.
week. It's very much that type of
Something
energy.
like that. Yes. Some home
Uh,
improvement show, or yeah, or some makeover show. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
yes,
that
love
is
it.
the vibe.
I love it.
Or do
That's the
your
vibe.
own. Do your own transformation. That is the energy of the week.
I love it.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Hell
Well,
yeah.
week four, April 19th through 25th, this week is expected to get a little bit more rough and weird, especially in matters of resources, authority, and communication. And Taurus season officially begins this week, but we might not receive the full sense of stability and peace that we're wanting until Uranus moves away from Taurus, probably. We'll see. So the week starts on Sunday, April 19th, with the sun entering Taurus. And from now through May 21st, the sun shines a spotlight on our resources. Taurus is a Venus ruled earth sign that's all about sensuality and security. And this is achieved through eating delicious foods, working hard to have nice things, and indulging in your sensual delights, whatever that looks like for you. But this Taurus season will be pretty different from the Taurus seasons of the last 7 years, as Uranus leaves the sign only a few days after Taurus season begins. So I think our resources will feel more stable moving forward after this first week. On April 19th, still, but bleeding into the 20th, we have a conjunction between Mars, Saturn, and Mercury, all in Aries. So, this is the energy of a war strategist and one that has zero interest in diplomacy. Yeah, very
Okay.
applicable to the mundane events going on in the world, I would say. But in our personal lives, this is an excellent time to take the lead and to take initiative. You might feel very assertive and capable of strategizing and executing your ideas for the long term. However, be cautious of being too brash with others, especially. Mercury is not polite in Aries, and Mercury is not like very people pleasy, I would say, when it meets up with Saturn. It's not very like nice on the ears for people to hear. And then Mars just like boosts some aggressive energy there. So be cautious of being too brash. This is the energy of having an authoritarian boss. And if you act on your impulses today without thinking about the long term, there will be consequences.
It's
So kind
scream
of
music,
it's screamo music and it's like rude energy on the 19th to 20th.
but also like,
And
what do their voices sound like 20 years later? The
yeah,
saddest part.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting because that is 420. So it's just like, I love that 420 starts like at the start of Taurus season. It's very appropriate. But this one, just like,
Very
it's gonna
appropriate.
be rude. It's gonna be rude.
Yeah.
And then on April 23rd, we have Venus conjunct Uranus, and then Venus enters Gemini. So matters of love, value, and beauty get kind of weird today, which is fun. And as Venus makes its way out of Taurus, it meets up with Uranus for one last hurrah in Taurus. And this is like today's energy, especially, is like getting your nails done and your manicurist talks you into getting like a really different and unique design that is totally insane. But you get it because it's a conversation starter and you're wanting to be more social in your life. So
I
when
like it.
Venus, right? Yeah. And when Venus is in Gemini, like that's what we want. So it's kind of like the setup, like I'm gonna do something a little bit weird with my appearance, maybe get a unique outfit.
Yeah.
And that like is a conversation starter to help like break the ice because you will want that when Venus enters Gemini the same day. And we're then more attracted to someone's mind and their conversational energy from now through May 19th. And do your networking, get social with Venus and Gemini. Even if you're like not dating or your partner not really looking for anyone, like go out and just connect with people because it's the season to do so. If you are partnered, while Venus is in Gemini, the ideal date night might look like going out to trivia, playing card games together would be very fun. Gemini's the goofy guy. Gemini's the goofy guy. The goofy twins. Very like jester energy.
He's
So
so goofy. Yeah. Yeah.
goofy.
I love it.
And then on April 25th, we have Uranus entering Gemini for the long haul. Um, while the sun squares Pluto on the same day. So uh
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, so that Sun square Pluto is going to kick us off before Uranus enters Gemini. And I expect this transit, this day will come with a jolt for us collectively. Um, over the last 7 years, Uranus and Taurus brought increased digitization of our resources, some instability of resources, and Uranus is entering the sign that's so much about technology, media, information. So a lot of those things still in the digital space are going to get shaken up, I would say, for the next 7 years. Um, and that Sun Pluto energy is very much like ego death vibes, especially. So there could be this energy before this transit of like, and it's something we've been talking about in the previous weeks of like, it seems like something has to change. It seems like something has to change regarding like our connection of identity to our resources and the role that that plays in the collective, like society as a whole. It's just this energy of like things need to change, and Uranus and Gemini is there to bring about social change for sure. So For the next 7 years, Uranus brings its eccentric, disruptive, technological energy to all things related to Gemini, like communication, socialization, learning, and media. And the last time that we experienced this transit in full of Uranus through Gemini was from 1941 to 1949. We're seeing a lot of transits, especially these outer planet transits happening right now that last time we saw them was in a time of like war and hardship. We saw a huge boost of propaganda because of that. The positive things were going to be that we saw advancements in aircraft that made air travel accessible to civilians. The invention of the microwave, and the communication system invented by Hedy Lamarr that later led to Wi-Fi. So I do think Uranus and Gemini will bring big, like technological and social advancements for us. So we'll see how it goes, especially in the age of AI. I'm really
Yeah.
curious about what Uranus and Gemini will do, especially with my day job as a social media
Yeah.
manager.
I feel like it's already changing so fast. Like, how can it change faster? But it's going to.
It's going to. Yeah, it will. I think it'll hit us like a bus. I think it'll hit us like a
Yeah.
bus.
I did want to say, like, that Sun squaring Pluto happening on the same day. Like, the Sun square Pluto is Darth Vader. That's why I sang that. But, like, maybe it's
Yeah.
something about, like his whole body gets burned. Like, it's very like a
Hmm.
Sun square, like an argument between Sun and Pluto, right?
Yeah.
Like, completely being destroyed. And then for him to live, he had to have this invention that like made him breathe, right? And
Hmm.
so this Uranus entering Gemini thing. So if you want to really think about Star Wars, if you're into it, but just
I think
like
this analogy
the
is
whole
perfect.
the whole like transition of into Darth Vader. What was his name? Anakin? Yeah.
Yeah,
Anakin
Anakin.
Skywalker in whatever episode that was too. And like that transition of him like being destroyed and then I mean he turns into an evil villain. We don't have to do that. But he had to have this kind of like
Yeah.
technological innovation to exist, you know? So if there's
Yeah, he
something that
did.
you can take from that story, that's this day.
And it was, and in the Star Wars story, like that shift from him to from Anakin to Darth Vader brought social changes in society. So,
Yeah.
new perspective that you gave me to think about for this day. I guess we'll say it's Darth Vader day. Like someone's gonna have their Darth Vader moment. So,
So I have a natal Sun Pluto conjunction, so Darth Vader's my jam.
hell yeah.
I only wear black.
Yes. He honestly had a good style. He had a good style, I think.
I breathe loudly.
Oh my God.
I
All
mean,
right,
think about
Dani.
how, like, just for 1 second, like, think about how Sun Pluto that is that, like, for me to live, you have to hear me breathe.
Yeah. Especially with the Gemini element going on the same
Yeah,
day. Just like, yeah, you have to hear me
that's
breathe and you have to hear me talk,
yes, you have to. You have a
even
really
when
good
it's
point.
weird.
Very weird.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm done with Darth Vader. But all right, so did you finish?
I did finish.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, take us into week 5.
Mercury's in Pisces, y'all. All right, week 5. The end of the month feels like a navigation moment, so you may notice opportunities appearing that help confirm that you're on the right path, while other situations show up where enthusiasm might be getting ahead of practicality. So on April 26th, which is Sunday, we have 3 things happening. We have Sun sextile the North Node, Mercury squaring Jupiter, and Venus sextiling Neptune. So we begin this week with a supportive alignment with destiny energy. So this can show up as moments where people feel guided towards something meaningful, opportunities that seem to arrive naturally, increased awareness of what truly feels sustainable and aligned. Taurus asks us for stability, patience, and grounding, while the North Node in Pisces points towards compassion, intuition, and spiritual growth. So together, this can bring subtle but powerful realizations about what path forward feels right. We may feel calm clarity about long term priorities, a desire to simplify life and focus on what matters most, and intuitive confirmation that something is meant to be. So, slow down enough to recognize meaningful opportunities. That's really what Taurus wants us to slow down. Trust intuitive nudges from the Pisces side, especially around creative or spiritual pursuits. So, sometimes the right path doesn't arrive dramatically, it just feels quietly right. And this is happening after Uranus is gone. So, we finally get to like bathe in the Taurus mud bath, like the spa mud bath covered in Dead Sea salt space that
Ugh.
we get to in finally. I cannot wait. Then the mental and emotional volume increases. So this can bring bold opinions and passionate conversations, people speaking with confidence, but possibly exaggerating, and debates around protection, family, and emotional security. So don't go to the spa with your mom. Go with your friend. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Mercury in Aries wants to say it immediately, while Jupiter expands everything, including enthusiasm and overconfidence. So we may feel excitement about ideas and patience with slower thinkers and a tendency to overpromise or speak before thinking things through. So try to pause before making big declarations. Enthusiasm is great, but accuracy still matters. This is big ideas energy, but big ideas still need grounding. So have the ideas, take a few breaths before you act on them. This and then the day ends with some magic and creativity, and this can bring artistic inspiration, romantic curiosity, imaginative conversations, and a sense of playful possibility in relationships. Venus in Gemini loves exploration, while Neptune adds imagination and spiritual depth. So we may feel flirtation, curiosity, and mental chemistry, creative inspiration, and fascination with new people or ideas. So enjoy the inspiration, but stay aware of the projection. This is wonderful energy for art, writing, music, and storytelling. Connection begins with curiosity. Then we move towards Tuesday, April 28th. We have Venus trine Pluto. I love a Venus trine Pluto, and Venus square the node. Okay. So we end the month with intense but transformative relationship energy. So this may show up as powerful conversations that deepen bonds, people feeling magnetically drawn to new ideas or people, and shifts in social networks or communities. So Pluto brings depth and transformation, while Gemini energy brings communication and curiosity. So we may feel fascination with something or someone new, powerful conversations that change perspectives, and increased emotional honesty. So listen deeply in conversation today. This energy favors authenticity over surface level interaction. So some conversations don't just pass the time, they actually change the direction of your life. And then we follow this with a course correction moment in relationship and values. So this can bring a situation that asks, are we choosing curiosity or distraction? And are our relationships aligned with where we're actually going? So this can bring a choice point in relationships, finances, or values. We may feel uncertainty about what or who we want, attraction to something exciting but possibly misaligned, or the realization that some connections support our growth while others don't. I think it's really interesting that Venus is having this very easy connection with Pluto where we have some unavoidable truth about relationships and values exposed to us. And then we have an argument with the North Node that expands things, but in a way that like can be delusional. So it really is forcing a faded moment. Prepare to notice which relationships feel expansive versus which ones feel draining, and choose connection that aligns with your long term path. Not every connection is meant to follow you into the future. So this is really a defining day as far as our values. And I do think that's important to happen now that Uranus has left Taurus. So we're getting more access to our resources, more access to the things that we need to feel stable. And sometimes that means that we have to cut some things out in order to like feel grounded in ourselves. And now we have the opportunity to feel this grounding since Uranus is no longer in Taurus. So this week brings quiet confirmation about the path forward with big conversation and bold ideas. There will be curiosity in relationships and moments of realization about who and what truly belongs in your future. The energy is less about dramatic change and more about subtle course correction. We are being reminded that the path forward often reveals itself through conversation, curiosity, and what people we meet along the way. So pay attention to what feels aligned and be willing to adjust course if something doesn't. So that's the end of April. Do you have any thoughts?
I'm just so ready for April.
I am too. I am too. I am too.
I'm so ready for April. I think I'm ready for Aries season to begin. What that starts like tomorrow, as of the day we're filming this, I think. Um,
I'm so ready for it to be tomorrow.
but yeah, I'm ready for it to be tomorrow, and then I'm ready for it to be April with more Aries going on and just feeling alive again.
Yeah. I'm excited about three things this month. So, and I'm cautious about that Mars, Mercury, Saturn stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm cautious about that. But I'm excited that we're gonna have a month where basically where Mars is in Aries, Venus is in Taurus.
Hmm.
Like having those two planets have some power, like we're gonna get some things done. And
Yeah.
we've had a lot of like can't get things done energy. And then I'm real ready for Uranus to get his butt out of Taurus. Okay. Bye. I'm
I'm ready
ready
to
for that.
experience stability in my life.
Right? Like, why is
So,
life so hard? Gosh.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I still have not figured that out after studying astrology. I'm like, oh, I guess the stars agree that life is kind of hard sometimes, and that's okay. We overcome, and everything is cyclical. So
Well, I am
it just
ready to
sucks.
never see Uranus and Taurus again in
Yeah.
this lifetime. Like, bye. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. We only had to experience
So,
it
all right.
once.
Unless you live a really long time,
Yeah.
which maybe we will. I
Some
mean, Uranus is
people,
about to go into Gemini.
yeah. Some people experience a full Uranus transit in their lifetime as well. But
But that's Uranus coming back to where you were born. We're both
yeah,
in our 30s.
yeah. So we'll probably be
So that's
dead.
115 years from now. That's 115 years for us. So,
Yeah. We'll probably
but
be dead.
maybe,
Unless science,
maybe that'll
there
be
might be a
normal by
lot
then.
of scientific advancements from this.
Exactly. Uranus is about to enter Gemini, so we will make it until the next Uranus and Taurus, and we can be like, I remember when. I
Yes.
think of Uranus as the Titanic planet because it's 84 years ago. It's what she says in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That
That
now,
was her
yeah, that
Uranus
movie was a
return.
Uranus return for that movie, I guess. It was like, oh, the Titanic sank one Uranus cycle ago, and now we're revisiting it. Now I need to like look
In the
at
story, yeah.
movies astrologically a little bit more. It's really fun to do. It's really fun to do.
Maybe we should do an Astro Babble
We should. There is
about moon.
one astrology author who literally wrote a book. It's called Mirror Mirror by Alex Trenowith, and she in this book covered like the astrology of movies, but specifically of like historical period pieces, and she took the
Yeah.
astrology from like the actual historic event and compared it to the astrology of like the making of the movie and compared
Cool.
the birth chart of the historical figure to the birth chart of the actor who played them. So I love that stuff. I love just like
That's cool.
the astrology of like having a good time with looking at it through
Yeah.
movies and
I think it
stuff.
would
So
be I think it would be cool for us to choose like a planet and then like maybe Jupiter or maybe like Saturn. Maybe we do Uranus and like where Uranus was and how that showed up in movies at the time, like the movies, like where were the planets when Godfather came out? Where were
yeah,
they when? Wizard of Oz came out. If you would like to see this episode, comment below.
Yeah, leave us a comment if that sounds cool to you, and we'll do it. Leave us a comment if you want that.
Yeah, we'll do it. All
All
right. I
right.
think that we have fully Mercury and Pisces retrograded this episode. So we apologize,
Yes.
y'all. But I'm ready for April. I'm ready for Aries season. I'm ready for Uranus to move. What about you, Misty?
I'm ready for all of it. Yes.
All of it.
All
All
of it.
right. Misty, who are you? Where can you be found?
My name is Misty of Mercurial Girl Studios. You can find me at mercurialgirlstudios.com, which takes you to my Substack. Books for astrology readings are closed right now, but I am still slinging my astrology artwork. And here is one sticker I've been showing off every time I get a drink of water. I'm working on my new zodiac collection right now. So the Aries part of the collection is out now. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, and you can find me on socials, Mercurial Girl Studios across the board.
I love. And I am Dani Jarrah of Planets in Praxis, and you can find me at planetsinpraxis.com and on all the socials at Planets in Praxis. All right, we did it.
Yay, we did
See you
it!
guys next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.